Function is a piece of code get executed when it is called. Here is an example. Consider a newly built apartment. All the flats in the apartment are similar. We have two users, A and B. A want his flat to painted differently. B want his flat to painted differently. Let us write a program for them. This is the living room color for user A, bedroom color for user A, living room color for user B, bedroom color for user B. They will get their flat painted as they like. If there is n number of users, it is very difficult to repeat the code again and again. It will make our code very lengthy. You can observe a similarity here. The living room bedroom dimension is same for all the flats. The only changing thing is the color. User A want his flat to painted in different color. B want it to be painted in different color. So what I do is I create a code block which has program for living room color, bedroom color. So inside this function, I will pass the color of living room and bedroom. So let me show you a function. So here it is a function. I name this function as house. Inside this parenthesis, I pass the color of the flat, living room color and bedroom color. Inside this code block, I have defined program for living room color and bedroom color. So it will get painted according to the paint value we pass inside this parenthesis. We have defined a function here. This function will get executed only if you call this function. If you not call this function will not get executed. How you call a function? First you say the function name. Here the function name is house. Then you pass the parameter. User A want the living room color to be in red and the bedroom color to be in green, and user B want it to be pink and blue, and we can write code for n number of users. This will reduce the length of our code. Here we defined a function block and we call this function by its name whenever we need. We have four type of functions: no argument, no return type, with argument, no return type, no argument with return type, with argument and return type. Let me program for the first type. We have to define the function outside the main block. I write a program to sum two numbers. First I say the keyword void, then I say the function name as sum. I mention parenthesis. We are leaving this parenthesis empty. We pass no argument here. If I use int instead of void, then this function should return something. If we use the keyword void, it will not return. So this will be no argument, no return type. Let me create two variables, int a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 10. In the cout statement, I am printing the sum of two variables. Here I have defined the function block. To execute this function, I have to call this function in the main block. How to call a function? First you say the function name, then you give the parenthesis, you end it with semicolon. Here we are not passing any arguments and this function will not return a value. When we call this function, this block of code will get executed. Let me run the program. It says sum equal to 15. In main function, we call the function with the function name and this block of code will get executed. It says sum equal to 15. For with argument no return type, we are going to pass argument to it and the function will not return a value. Let me do the same sum program. First I define the function block. We want it to be with arguments. How to create arguments? Inside the parenthesis, first you say the argument type. Here I am saying it is an integer. Argument is just a variable which is used by the function block. First you say the data type of the argument. If you want another argument, give the comma operator and say the data type of the argument and the name of the argument. In the cout statement, I type the message sum of a and b. Inside the double quotes, I print the value a plus b. Here I defined the function block. To call the function, you first say the function name. The function name is sum. So inside the parenthesis, you pass the arguments. I'm passing integer values. So first 10, use comma operator, then I put 5, I end it with semicolon. First I call the function, this value 10 and 5 is assigned to the variable a and b. So now a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 5 because we have passed argument here. This cout statement will sum the two value a and b and display on the screen. Let us run the code. It says sum of a and b is 15. Here we pass the argument 10 and 5. So the value of a is 10 and b is 5 and it prints a plus b. No argument with return type. So it should return a value. First I say the data type to be returned. I want it to be integer. Then I give the function name sum. I am leaving the parenthesis empty because of no argument with return type. Now I define the function block. I create two variables, int a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 10, and I return the sum of two values. Return a plus b, end it with semicolon. In the main function, I create a variable result. So this integer value will store the value returned by this function sum. First I type result equal to, then I call the function sum, parenthesis, I end it with semicolon. So here it calls the sum function. This block of code will get executed. Here we have two variables, a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 10. It will return of sum of a and b. So the return sum of a and b will get stored in the result. In the cout statement, I am printing the result. Let me run the code. It says sum is 15. So here it returns the value of a plus b. It is going to be integer. So we are mentioning int as the data type here. Here I call the program. So the sum of a plus b will stored in the result and I am printing in cout statement with argument and return type. So we want to pass argument and the function should return a value. How you create argument? First you say the argument data type int, then the argument name I want it to be a, and then the next argument is int b. So let me define the function block. I mentioned the keyword return, so it returns a value and I return sum of a plus b, end it with semicolon. In main function I have created a variable result, so I say result is equal to sum. Inside this parenthesis I pass the arguments 5 comma 10. So value 5 is assigned to a, value 10 is assigned to b. We have passed the argument and it will return the sum of a plus b. So here we are passing an argument and the user defined function will return a value. So this is with argument with return type. So in the cout statement I am printing the result. Let me run the program. It says sum is 15. To understand overloading, let me show you a simple example. In Chennai airport, we have two passengers. One passenger is from India and other passenger is from foreign country. They both want to travel from Chennai to Delhi. They are traveling within the country. The Indian passenger wants flight ticket to travel to Delhi, while the foreign passenger wants his visa, passport, and flight ticket to travel to Delhi. But they both are doing the same function, travel to Delhi, but they are passing different number of parameters. Indian customer passes only the flight ticket as the parameter, while the foreign customer passes passport, visa, and the flight ticket as the parameter. So this is the example of overloading. They are doing the same function. The function name is travel to Delhi, but they are passing different number of arguments. So let me code. I define a function travel to Delhi. I say void first and travel travel to Delhi is the function name. In this function, I am passing the parameter ticket. Let it be Boolean value. So it's going to check whether the Indian passenger have flight ticket or not. So I put the variable ticket here. I'm using the if statement. If ticket equal to 1, it says you can travel to Delhi. This function is for Indian passenger. Now let me create the function for foreign passenger. The function name is same, travel to Delhi. The function name is same. We are differentiating it by passing the number of parameters. Here we pass bool, passport, bool, visa, and bool ticket. If passport equal to true, I'm using AND gate. So it checks whether all the equation are true, then it will execute the if block. And visa equal to true, again AND gate. And ticket equal to true. If this if condition is correct, then it will execute this block of code. It says you can travel to Delhi. This function is for foreign passenger. Now in the main function, I am creating the variables int, let it be bool. So I am creating boolean variable, passport, ticket, and visa. I am assigning all this variable to true, which is 1. So this is for foreign passenger. And I create another variable bool. I stands for Indian. This is equal to true. In the void travel to Delhi for Indian passenger, I'm just adding a cout statement so you can know which function get executed. I'm doing same for the foreign passenger function. Here we have the function name same. We call the function travel to Delhi and I pass one argument which is I ticket, and I call the same function travel to Delhi. Now I pass 3 arguments, passport, comma visa, comma ticket. So let me run the code. It says Indian passenger, you can travel to Delhi, and next foreign passenger, you can travel to Delhi.